Good day, friends. So today we are going to talk about a very critical question that's troubling the minds of Canadian immigration aspirants, in especially for the Express Entry program, Federal Skilled Worker program. What is the question that's troubling everybody? It is that the draws for candidates who are waiting in the pool and outside of Canada, they are not coming in, and they have not been coming in for quite some time. The last draw which was announced was in December of 2020, so that's good, almost 9 months gone, and no further invites have been issued since then. Of course that's troubling, but what does the future holds, and should one, really speaking, be getting doubtful about the process just because the invites are not being issued to applicants outside of Canada? The answer is no. Let's get into reasons of why the answer is no. Let's go into the background of why these draws are not being declared for candidates outside of Canada. COVID happened. When the COVID happened in early 2020, the restrictions on entry was announced not only for Indians, for everybody into Canada. So if the restrictions are in place for entry, really carrying on with the process for issuing the invites made practically no sense. So what the Canadian government focused on was the resources that were available within the country and who could be issued PR visa or who would be easily absorbed to meet the quota requirements. Now, who were those resources? Those resources were either the students who were already living in Canada and working in Canada and were on a post-study work permit, or alternatively those who were working in Canada already on for in one occupation or the other. So typically those with Canadian experience class, under the Canadian experience class, started getting preference, and those who were studying in Canada and were on a work permit started getting preference because they were in Canada and they can easily meet the requirements. They are physically present there, and there were no restrictions required in terms of their entry into Canada, and creating situations related to COVID difficulties. So that is the background in which it happened. But let's also look at the overall situation. The overall situation, it's not that, so the Canadian government has a quota of almost 400,000 every year. But the candidates who are available under Canadian experience class or the work permit class or other categories, those numbers are limited, and that those numbers are getting exhausted by every month. Now, from where will those numbers come in for them to enable them to meet the quota? Of course, they have to come from outside Canada. Of course, the federal skilled worker draws have to come in to enable the Canadian government to meet the quotas. There's no other way. So, what is that next going to happen? And also, please appreciate that the COVID situation all across the world is improving, especially in India it's improving. Now and then you can see it happening across the world. Now more and more countries are permitting Indians to enter, and subject to whatever requirement related to RT-PCR or quarantine, they are permitting them to not only visit but to start their life, whether work or and for any other purpose. Canada is not going to be an exception. Like any other country, Canada too will now start issuing, and then now in Canada the calendar for immigration quota runs from January to December. We are already sitting in September, and last 3 months of 2021 are approaching. So what it means is this: in a worst case scenario, the draws for the next year quota have to start coming in. There's no choice, there's no option. And if at all the Canadian government had any doubt about issuing the invites to candidates or applicants outside Canada, they would have stopped accepting applications into the express entry pool long time back, which they have not stopped. They have been regularly on an ongoing basis accepting application in the pool, and there is no choice but to start issuing invites sooner than later. Just wait out. It's not going to be a question of an year, it's just a question of maybe a few weeks to a month, and the draws for faculty skilled workers will definitely and surely start. And who are the ones who are going to get advantage when the draws start? The ones who are going to get advantage are the candidates who are in the express entry pool. If you are waiting for the draws to start and then start preparing for application and then start going through the educational credential assessment and then start giving the IELTS test, I'm sorry, you may be in for a very major disappointment, because two things happen, and they may happen. Number one, the draws may come out at a lower ranking than the last ranking in December 2020. So if the draws are announced at lower point ranking, you may miss out on an opportunity. And number two, the advantage will be with those who are in the pool rather than those who will get in the pool after 6 months. So decide where you want to be. For sure, federal skilled worker draws for candidates outside of Canada are on the way sooner, very soon, within weeks to months, and surely not in years. So get ready, ensure you're in the pool, and be prepared in case you are going to be a successful candidate by getting an invite to apply. Thank you and have a nice day.